Hello, everybody. It's good to be back on the stage.
That video was intense.
Yeah,
Should we have some fun?
let's have a discussion about nice things.
We're going to let you into a conversation that we've had probably 500 times. That's been us going back and forth, maneuvering this. We're going to let all of you into our world, to let you into my world. I've had the tremendous honor of manifesting this genius into my life. And many of you know her as a visionary musician and technologist who has an unparalleled capacity to leverage some of the most advanced, new, emerging technologies and utilize them both in your creations and in the way you market and bring your music to the world. It's the definition of an early adopter. And for those of you who don't know her, she's a multi-Grammy-Award winning recording artist and producer. But above all of those things, what I've gotten to know is that Imogen Heap has the highest level of integrity in her heart. And that's what brought us together. And that's the impetus of this conversation. So I've had the honor of having you walk into my world. Will you tell the story?
Yes, so I'm so happy to know Shara. I came across her because a friend of mine, Ed Newton-Rex, who started up something called Fairly Trained to prove the authenticity of a model that it has been permissioned and is good. And I was a little bit at a loss because I couldn't find a generative music platform that was ethically sourcing permissioned musical works to generate music from. And I have a project which is actually coming out today. It's called song.oracles.io. And it shows you what you can do with this song. But part of it, I wanted to enable the fans to come in and generate a piece of music based on my piece of music. But I couldn't find anyone. So I was asking Ed, who do I go to? And he's like, there's one person, one company that I know is doing it. And he said this company called Gen. So I was like, Gen? Imogen? Gen? I'm liking it. Generative. Very good. So then I quickly looked up Instagram and I found out who was the CEO, you. And then I immediately followed you. And you immediately was like, Imogen, we've got to talk. And I was like, yes, we do. How did you know? And then we had an extremely long, excited conversation. And it felt like, it was the strangest feeling. It was like I was talking to my twin. But my twin who's super amazing, entrepreneur, making just magic stuff happen with hundreds of people and loads of money, doing it really well. And me just trying to do the same thing, but from a kind of singular musician's perspective, to how do we enable and empower individuals and their works to do business on their behalf by themselves, 24/7 at a data level. And that's where we realized that we could do this amazing collaboration.
We have a passion for ethics.
We do. Ethics is key. And that is really something that has been at the core, 6 years ago, I was just actually looking back on the video of me here, talking about the song as a service back then, expressing all the information that I wanted to put in a song so that it could just go off and do business with the world, so I didn't have to chase stuff or bad information gets around and kind of closed data sets. And here I am today with an actual working, serving a song as a service. Because if you can enable the song to give all the permissions and necessary, or at least give the song the choice, or the human the choice to be interacting with these feature services, then you can grow and build innovation around that based on ethics. Because if you don't have a choice, you don't have a choice. You can't take part.
I think we're at this moment. So I grew up with music in my DNA. My dad is a musician. I've spent the last 10 to 15 years working at the intersection of music and technology. And one of the things I noticed as AI came into the fold over the last 3 years, I started developing Gen 3 years ago. And it took me 2 years to license all of the data that would train our models to be able to say that this is an ethically trained platform.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Because actually, Everyone else is doing like the simple, easy route. Well, seemingly simple, may not be so simple in the future if you get it all wrong now. But it's like, it is hard to license music. It's hard to do the right thing. And really, this is what I want the songs to be able to do, is to make it easy for services to do the right thing, to empower them with the possibility to do that. And so you taking the long, hard route of doing the proper thing, going out there and getting the permissions, is what you've been doing. And I'm so grateful.
It's a really interesting thing because I spend a lot of time talking about how I've licensed music, and I think there can be a misconception when I say that, as if I think I'm a hero. I'm not a hero for licensing music. The complexities within the music industry, like you just said, make it incredibly, incredibly complicated to be able to license the underlying training data. So no wonder there are others out there who just say, we'll take the world's catalogs of music, train our models on them, and deal with the lawsuits later, because the music industry is at fault for making this complicated. So I think it's a really interesting thing that obviously we've come together on, and we came together under the guise of elevating the creation of music and how to do that creatively. And what I love about you, and someone once said to me, the thing about Imogen Heap is that you may not know her, but you know her music. And we know your music because it transcends time, because you've used technology to evolve your voice and to evolve your instrumentation, and you've created almost new sounds and new instruments that have evolved the sonic landscape. And people always ask me, why AI music? Why do you want to make AI music? And why did you want to launch an AI music platform? And I always say, it's not because I believe that the world needs more music. We have incredible catalogs, more than we could ever listen to in a lifetime. But so we don't need more music. What we need is the ability for visionaries all over the world at any level of skill set, someone who may never be able to play an instrument or hasn't been able to play an instrument, to be able to take the song in their heart or in their mind and turn it into something that they own and they can use and they can bring out into the world. And so when I think about AI music, and what we've spoken about a lot, is that we can create products that transcend how creation works. And so one of the things that we came together on is a patented product that we will launch in the next couple of months called Style Filter. And as I've spent the last 15 years in the music industry, I've spent a lot of time in meetings, and people say to me, if only we could capture the style or the vibe of Imogen Heap, or you name what artist you love, if only we could bottle that up and we could put that into something. And I always thought, what if we could do that? And so when we started Gen 3 years ago, I said, we're not creating a platform to allow anyone to create more of the same type of music. We need to evolve the way music is created. And so we are going to show you now a video of the transformative power of AI in music.
If you have a song in your heart, you can make music with Gem. From concept to composition in seconds. Transform your music with style. Introducing Style Filter. Seamlessly infuse the unique styles of artists and producers into new compositions. Let's try mine. Oh yeah, by the way, this is me, Imogen Heap. Well, this is an AI version of my voice powered by Jen.
Permissioned by me, the human Imogen Heap, using oracles.
Let's take your prompt. A little hip-hop, I see. Let's add my style filter to your hip-hop prompt. Here's a preview of what we're working with. Now, here's yours, inspired by mine. I like it. Okay, let's try another prompt with another style filter. This time, using my brand new single, What Have You Done to Me? It goes like this. Now, your prompt with my vibe. Oh, that's pretty. This is next generation music creation. Groundbreaking patented AI driving innovation that redefines the sonic landscape. Generate, refine, transform. All you need to make music is your mind. High fidelity, cutting edge, artist first. And most importantly, we don't steal music or voices.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Nice work, Shara. It's super exciting because what currently what happens in the music industry is we are encouraged via the algorithm of choice to create music that sounds similar to other things. And the really exciting thing about what you've done is that the more unique the style, the sound of that song or that person, the more it gives back to you. Like, if you take away a lot of the vocalists over tracks, you might actually discover they sound pretty much all alike. And the exciting thing here is that your uniqueness, your specific crazy uniqueness is what helps you stand out above the rest, which, you know, whether you have that voice that nobody else has, that's the thing that's gonna go around and be exciting people. And so at the song level, you are enabled to exhibit the uniqueness of that track, whether it's you know, the semantic definition of that track or the instrumentation around it. And so by combining this relationship directly with musicians and their work all across the world, hopefully in time, we have a plan starting on the 9th of December, that we can map all the music makers in the world to be able to have the opportunity to build these systems, you know, with companies like Gen.
One of the things we showcased in this video is that Imogen permissioned me to build her voice and utilize it in that video via her platform Oracle. So like we were talking about earlier, licensing music is hard. Connecting to artists is hard. A lot of times record labels will say to me, Shara, I know these artists are your friends, but can you please come to me to go to them? I'm like, this makes no sense. They're people I know, and I'm lucky and grateful that I am able to get right to artists like yourself. That is not most technology founders who are building amazing things and want to be able to utilize those assets, whatever they may be. And what you've spoken to me so much about is our voice is our identity. It is what you have. And when AI models train on that without your permission or without your participation, they're effectively taking your identity. And so through oracles, which I'd love for you to talk about, why, so you created oracles to permission your voice to me and give me permission to approve what I wanted to do with it. That allows an individual to control their identity, their sovereignty, and everything that they've created, and they will be able to do that by creating an oracle. You've been working on this for many years, but there is a fire now because of the rise of AI. Give me your perspective on why now, why what you're seeing in the growth of AI has led you to say, we need data provenance now more than ever.
Yeah, I'd kind of been lulling on it a bit because I was focusing on a bit of music making, but then I started to get these calls more and more. You know, we want to create a voice, you know, model out of you. We want to do this, do this, do this. And I was like, you know me, you know that I'd be kind of interested in that, you know, various different companies, but so would many other musicians. But how do you reach them? And again, it was like, I need to kind of get moving again on this identity bit, because unless we show ourselves in our many millions music makers all over the world, the permissions or the standards get set by those who are second to us. So that could be the labels, it could be the government. How do they decide what's okay at a kind of at a level or not, permissioned in, permissioned out? How do they do that? We have to do it individually. And so what we hope to do is which we are doing, is creating this ability for music makers to just simply show themselves, to have the ability to inspire services to see that they can innovate directly with and for us, so that we can build out these services that make sense for us, for you, for musicians, for music at large, for human creativity at large. It's not, we're lucky in that music has some form of, payment. It's very extremely slow and makes no sense at all right now. But at least it has a framework. But for anyone out there who's writing code or building websites or taking photographs or whatever you're doing, that is all also content that is going into these huge AIs of what we're asking in here. And eventually, if we don't have any attribution to humans or credits to their work, it becomes very separate. So the reason now is because AI. And in a time where there is so much innovation in AI, and music is a key part of everyone's lives. Of course, music is often one of the first technologies or kind of mediums for technologies to want to work with. And we've never got it right, and we have an opportunity to do it right. The landscape is different now. We have blockchain, we have distributed technologies, we have social media, we have huge amounts of connections and discussions, and we never had that before. So it gives us the opportunity for the first time in history for music makers to actually build this layer and to then empower ourselves to create this database of works, which for then companies like yourself can then go and develop and be inspired and innovate with and basically making ethics easy.
I think there's an interesting moment in time where there's a lot of fear around AI, and rightfully so, and we have a lot of empathy for that. But there's a tremendous, exciting opportunity to expand the way we create, and to do it in a way that offers artist monetization at the start. And I think what's amazing about the Style Filter product, and I'm so grateful to bring this to the world with you, is it showcases how you can lend your style to a style filter and participate in the revenue when a consumer uses that track. Now, Imogen will get the revenue, something that hasn't happened before. And obviously, this is complex, and we're working with all of the publishers across the industry to create the frameworks for this. That's one of the things about Gen as a whole, is I've been working for 2 years with all of the publishers and labels and catalogs to create licensing frameworks that would set the stage for what this becomes. And that's the beauty of what you've been doing with your thought around oracles, which is for artists and musicians and the likes, not just in music, all over, to be able to set that data point so that when there are innovations that you can participate in from a monetary perspective, you're able to do that.
Yeah.
One of the things that we were talking about earlier that I think we should end on, because it's the most exciting part, is that, and I mentioned it before, is that AI can create things that you've never imagined. So you might type in something, and just to level set so everyone understands where we're at, this is the very beginning of AI music creation. The things that you will hear on these platforms are a result of their training data. If they've licensed, that might be a somewhat smaller data set. If they have not licensed, it might be the world's catalog of music. That will showcase the outputs. But even the ones that have trained on more data, this is the beginning. We're hearing things come out of these platforms that it might not be the perfect saxophone. It might not be the perfect chord progression. These models are learning and evolving, and this is moving at the speed of light. So where they will be in the next year to 2 years will be enamoring. And earlier we were talking about how what's cool is that you might hear a sound that's a combination of a saxophone and a guitar and a piano. And you might be like, I typed in saxophone, like that should sound like a saxophone. But now AI music has created a guitaraphone, which is something that we could never have. So what I'd love for you to do is give us a view of your lens on the creative potential of what AI can do for you as an artist, but for other artists as well.
Yeah, so it's the beginnings. I could sit here for about another 5 hours and tell you about all the exciting things that I hope can happen. But at the very least, if without this base, nothing can really grow in a fast, innovative way, because you'll always come across red tape at the places where licenses are, which is really hard, like you've been having those conversations, but so has every other platform out there, and they all struggle. And it's like, how can we make it easy? Because then we can see, just amazing opportunities. The thing that personally gets me excited, I spend a lot of my time, well, actually I don't, I've been doing more of this, but moving bits of audio around on a screen. And I don't really want to do that. I want to be able to conjure music, like I do have these gloves that we made to make music out of thin air. But to be able to have an AI companion that has learnt from me, has learnt from my works, has had permission upon a base model of maybe other musicians that I also love, and that together, collectively, we build a base model together. We can pick and choose how we want to express ourselves, whether you're in front of a concert of people, just generating music in real time as a human with AI Imogen, here's my AI, and maybe a virtual Pharrell might walk into the room, and Pharrell's kind of like gravitas of music will just shape the way my music happens live on stage, having had permission from him. So if he would give me permission, but we can't do that yet, but that's the idea. It's like, if we can just create these base pieces, then we can build anything from it in an ethical, wholesome, and exciting, creative way, where we can all get excited about it.
I think to wrap up, we're at this moment in time where AI music is going to transform the industry as we know it. And I think that your level of passion, compassion, consideration, and thoughtfulness are the components that are needed to bring AI into a future that we all know is bright. So I thank you for being you and for being on this stage with me.
Thank you for being you and taking the hard route. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.